Welcome back, everybody, here to the main stage here on a Wednesday. We're right back at it with Valorant, and today the matchup, instead of getting two like we typically have, we have ourselves only one with the likes of UNA Auburn. Is what I've heard from behind the scenes in production is that's going to be the only matchup we get the entirety of the week. Not on Valorant, but in every single game, respectively. So overall, you got myself, Mick, as you've seen before, and then NATO also, who you sat there and got a little taste of last week. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, my man Mick? My boy Mick.
I'm doing all right, buddy. I'm doing just fine. But I mean, even then, to go ahead and look at these two teams that we got to bring up, Auburn and UNA. Obviously, we're here on the UNH stage. We know exactly who we're dealing with. We got the likes of Squib, Vocula, SPH, Guppy, and No Money here. That's going to be the lineup. We did have a substitution here. I remember a while ago with the likes of Seaton Indy kind of stepping in here and out, but he's a sub, and he's not going to be here with us today. But I mean, even then, on the side of Auburn, the team that I've sat there and cast out a couple times on their channel as well, it's going to be all boosted. Rue, Bubs, Dex, and Schmoovin. And Schmoovin and Rue are two players that I'm very familiar with, at least in terms of commentating, seeing what they have to provide. But I mean, enough about the players, what we got to discuss and all. I mean, everybody's relevant and ready to go, so we got to sit there and go ahead and get ourselves in this map, which the first one of the series is actually going to be the likes of Fracture. So we already got the map selections ready. We already got these players looking to go, get themselves on the at least the selection screen, and already some pretty quick lock-ins. This Dex going to be on that Neon, the most influential thing I have my eyes on thus far.
Hey, last week, that boy Schmoovin, that boy Rue, they went crazy last week. And I'm excited to see him redo it again. But my boy Squib, I got love for that man right there. And I'm ready to see him pop off. This is going to be a very interesting matchup to see who actually will, like, dominate and take over. But Squib over there in that chamber, that's what I like to see right there. And then Bubs over here locking in the jet. Okay. The boy Guppy, chilling. But no, I think overall, I'm going to have to go for Auburn, even though UNA is my home. And I love everyone on that team, but I think Auburn's just got that slight advantage over them, just in general.
I mean, even then, we could sit there and discuss the way the compositions work, and they do kind of have themselves somewhat of an upper hand. I mean, you sit there, look at the attacking side, the side of UNA having that KJ, having that controller out of the likes of Brimstone, running a double duelist with that chamber on top of it. I mean, almost a double sentinel, double duelist. You don't really have it too much of an initiator, so you're lacking a lot of flashes. You're lacking a lot of, I would say, smokes. Even though you had that Brimstone, you don't have really too much presence on a site once you get yourself to getting onto that point where you can go ahead and make that approach. But, I mean, honestly, Auburn able to go ahead and compensate for that respectively. You have that Neon. You have yourself a side for the post plant. You have that Breach for the initiation. And Breach here recently has been an absolutely massive pick when it comes around to the likes of Fracture, knowing that you can get those easy lineups, those massive stuns to really just go ahead and lock things down and make your job 10 times easier.
Yeah, that Breach pick recently, I've heard he's got a massive buff recently because I just got back into the game. I'm relearning all these characters and whatnot. I just found out Neon was a character last week. I had no idea she existed. So I'm sitting there trying to learn everything as long as trying to learn all the players and their play styles and everything like that. So Breach has been very successful in their overall winnings last week at least. Breach was a huge help for the Auburn side.
Yeah, Breach has been huge here recently, so at least on the map of Fracture, but I mean, even then, he doesn't really do too much on other maps unless you can really go ahead and utilize them correctly. So already a pretty big stun to come out, but you're going to go ahead and call Squib to go ahead and make a little bit of a retreat. As Vocula does grab that first pick, a great little first one there for the side of UNA, but they're going to follow things out. They got to get themselves onto a site, and they look to be rotating now with some of their players not really being exactly healthy, but you still have that exchange. You still have one-man advantage there. I mean, Vocula making that trade, though, and even then, still coming out alive. You couldn't ask for any more.
Oh, yeah, and they're doing this hot switch, bomb switch right here to try and catch Auburn off guard. So they got that one pick. Ooh, good trade right there as well. Even though Guppy does go down, Volia does get the pick onto Rue. And Rue last week was that huge impact player, I feel like, for the side of Auburn.
Yeah, the one big player you're going to get rid of right now is going to be that Dex, who did actually just fall here recently. So, I mean, looking at the board and looking at who's left, Bubs on that jet, that's your biggest engage onto a site, and that's going to be your biggest hold for at least a retake. But, I mean, even then, UNA looking to go ahead and double down on the rotation, saying, let's go B, now let's go A, now let's go B. And do they want to go ahead and finally contribute? Well, I think they kind of have to. With only 30 seconds left on the clock, they have to get this plant down. They have to work, and Bubs is working with the shot with a 3K. The man is a problem, and with only one last player standing, because be no money here, absolutely turning that round on its head.
Wow, Bubs really just said, yeah, I'm going to sit right here and just aim a little bit and just start clicking heads. And he really just came in clutch right there for the side of Auburn, just taking control of the whole map, catching them off the rotation and just picking them off one by one.
Yeah, that's. I mean, honestly, I didn't even see something like that coming. When you sit there and
Oh,
expect, I mean, you see those trades, you see everybody playing 1-for-1, you see the double rotation coming through, and you're saying, all right, well, just go ahead, get that spike down, full, just press that W key, do what you can, and make sure to get the even exchange there. There was almost a little bit of a miscombobulation there. Not enough of the members were saying, look, we need to go ahead and find this shot. We got to get this kill because Buzz was just massive there. I mean, single shots across the board with that ghost in hand. It's a big problem, especially for something like a Jet, where I mean, usually you buy yourself that sheriff, but not too much this time to really worry about when you know that you can still work with a ghost. But still, you got to get yourself that second round to back it up. And Dex, already with that Bulldog in hand, does manage to at least get one, but what didn't even exchange to come through.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially on the Dex right there. Yeah, Dex last week was also a very impactful player last week as well. But I think Bubs right now is just on fire because, I mean, he basically just set the tone for his team to just come back and start going crazy. But Volia with another pick right there on the boosted again. Oh, Squib right there has 2 on him. Just looking at the. Oh, Bubs with the pick on the Squib there. 3v3 situation, bomb down.
And even then, I mean, just a couple more picks here for Bubs. You can go ahead and get yourself 2 more kills. You can get that Blade Storm in hand to be working with. You can go ahead and get that pressure on the site, but the exchange is coming through. You already find yourself in a 2v2 scenario now for the side of Auburn, having the upper hand with that health, but even then, Bakula already having the Nano Swarm getting grenades down, able to go ahead and create some control into that site, able to hold the spike a little bit longer, but looking to go ahead and grab that presence.
Oh, Bubs with the knife out got him killed right there.
Yeah, not a good problem to really have there, but still, you see Rue on the exchange able to have that Spectre in hand, looking to go ahead and get these last couple seconds on this spike, and even then, whipping out the pistol there for a second. 2 really bad scenarios there for the likes of Auburn to go ahead and whip themselves out the wrong weapon at the wrong time. Ooh. Ended up getting themselves killed, but still, nobody stays alive there towards the end, but even then, UNA comes out with the round win when they sat there and saved a lot of money so they can buy themselves at least this time.
Oh, yeah, the shift of economy right here was actually huge. This was a huge round for UNA just to start off with the switch, like shift the momentum because Bubs right there, that first round, got a 4K, just said, all right, let's go handle our business, do whatever. And then UNA just comes out and it's just like, no, we're just going to take over again and we'll have to set the tone for the rest of the match right here, potentially.
The craziest thing about it was like that first pick. It was when you go ahead, you get that Bulldog in hand, you sit there and say, all right, you were probably the player that invested the most money in that round. We want to go ahead and shut that one down. I mean, even then, it wasn't intentional by any means, but when you still get that kill, you make it a 1-for-1 there, you get yourself a free weapon, essentially. There's a lot to work with. But if we're talking about things to work with, UNA has a lot in their hands. They have full rifles right now, full armor to back it up, but can they get the read? Especially Squib. Can he get the read on this shorty on the other side of this door, which he does go ahead and get a little bit of a peek on Rude, but it's somehow managed to survive there.
Oh, but Volia's going crazy right now, getting all these important first picks. Although it does get Schmoovin does get that pick off with the shorty. And looks like someone's on the flank. 2's just looking behind right now, 1 on bomb. He's got the I'm down Pluto. Oh, that's a huge pick. Volley is going crazy right now, just securing these picks right here. Or Volkia. Vocula. Okay, my fault. I haven't really talked to her much. Oh, Rue with the huge pick right there on the Squib. Just had absolutely no idea that was coming around the corner. Bomb down though. 2v3.
Low and steady's the name of the game here. You know that bomb's down. You know you got to make a play, and even then, when you're in a 2v3 scenario, looking at all the rifles in the hands of these players, if you're boosted, you're not worried about the rifles. You still grab yourself 2 kills. You know the last player seems to be Guppy, but where is he? Where is he going to go ahead and be swinging out from? Well, that's kind of the question at hand. When you see the arm going ahead and peek out, you look for the exchange. You sit there, you can't find the kill. You do some damage, but not enough to go ahead and close that around. So Guppy with the massive clutch there to go ahead and make the UNA lead. Go up to now 2-1. Not overall still in these early stages of the game, but I mean, when you sit there and invest so much money in that last round to go ahead and buy up those rifles, and then every single player ends up dying except for one, you don't have too much to translate onto the next. So this can be a big hurdle for UNA, saying that, okay, well, now that Auburn's going to admit and switching things around, saying we have been saving this money, you've been investing it, well, you're not going to have too much to work with this time around. So I want to see the exchange there, knowing that you got the classic and all, but even then, Squib being on that chamber, this is one of these kind of highlight plays where you can see this agent go off specifically when you get that money, when you sit there and know you can go on somewhat of a budget buy and still manage something with the headhunter. But you got to get the read on Schmoovin there towards tower. You can't get picked off right here, especially when you have so much influence onto a site thus far.
Oh yeah, and I think this first pick right here will be actually like huge for the side of UNA if they're able to get it, or at least get the trade off, because I mean, a kill's a kill at the end of the day, and I mean, if you can just set the momentum. Oh, but Dex does get Squib in their spawn. That's actually a huge pick for the side of Auburn.
And even then, Bigger to go ahead and shut down that ultimate as well. That baby cage that was coming through from the cage. You can go ahead and sit there and get that breach to come out. Really have that impact right now. But talking about impact, that's going to be Auburn going ahead and find themselves in a 4-for-0 trade thus far. I mean, every single player is still alive and well, and Vocula being the last one standing. Being this clutch play we've seen on so many different occasions, she's insane at the game. I mean, that's not, can't really be denied. But when you have Bubs line up with that operator, you swing out, you know the cross is going to come through. You have two angles to watch. Rope or right there on site. And you're going to go ahead and see her eventually. So the kills come through. It's a flawless round for Auburn. A huge turnaround there as they sit there and say, okay, you sit there and invest once more. You have no money now. You need to go right back to the budget, baby. Sit there and see what you can finesse in this round because there's not going to be enough, especially when we have an operator and 4 rifles on the board.
Yeah, Auburn right there just able to get secure those picks and not get traded off or nothing like that. I mean, that was huge for them in their economy right there to make sure that they can stay ahead across that and just stay ahead of UNA in the economy game, so that way they can always have rifles and be able to come back if they ever lose a round.
Yeah, but if we're talking about losing rounds, that's what UNA definitely doesn't want right now. They want to sit there and at least finesse to go ahead and get a player off. But I mean, first one to get a player off is going to be Bubs. Already going ahead, grabbing that pick on the SPH, and you sit there, you try to do the jump peek, you try to finesse something, but I mean, we're talking about finesse. We're talking about Auburn right now. They are just pushing right up into spawn, making moves, sitting there saying, all right, well, we have all the presents. We've already pushed all the way into spawn. You have to sit there and look up for where the rest of these players may be because Squib is already set up on the other side of the map. Looking to go ahead and make an exchange, trying to say, look, if anybody is going to push me, they need to do it now because he doesn't even have the spike in hand. He has to wait on Guppy. They have to go ahead and make an exchange. They have to go right back to A main where the setup is because Auburn has already got complete eyes on where the spike is and they can't really make the play just yet.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn's just kind of like fanning out. 1v5 situation right here. Squib does pull out the, ooh. Oh, and he misses that shot right there, unfortunately. Another flawless round for Auburn, or just the first one. Either way, that's a huge round loss for UNA right there in their economy right there. They used an ult, and Auburn just is kind of steamrolling right now. I mean, they've got the momentum, and they're just hanging on to it, just going crazy. Winning their trades, or winning just their gunfights in general, and they're just able to close in and dominate.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely had themselves a very impressive performance thus far, but even then, I feel like it's still early in the game. You still sit there and you know you're probably going to lose this next round. I mean, at least considering that last one, but I mean, still, this is where UNA has to step things up, and they have to also stay alive at the same time because the economy is going to flip up. They're not going to have that win streak or loss streak to really give themselves that safety net of economy anymore to be working with. They need to make sure to not only win a round, but stay alive, and that's a big problem. You already see Buzz on an operator, able to go ahead and finesse that first kill on the spawn. Boosted makes another kill there towards the other side on B. I mean, every single player now from UNA, it doesn't seem like wherever they go, they're going to run into a player. And that's the kind of setup that you need when you're on Fracture. You have to sit there and spread yourself thin, but if you can make those exchanges, look good as Rue right here in the middle of the map on that spawn and also blocking down that spike as well. You have no concerns to really keep your eyes on.
Yeah, Rue just went crazy, and that's another flawless round right there. I mean, Rue just got a 3K that round. Bubs is getting these first picks and just... It's almost like it's just the end of the round right there. Oh. Woo. Lord have mercy. See, my cat just unplugged everything.
See, I didn't know whether or not you actually cut off or whether you
no,
just are like trying to finish your point. I was like, wait, I should probably just wait this one out.
No, the cat just unplugged everything. That was nice. I'm just glad that wasn't the internet right there for me to just get booted offline. So we're back. But yeah, Auburn just is kind of dominating right now. I mean, Bubs is getting these first picks and just kind of just setting the tone for the entire round right there by just killing one person. Ooh, with the collapse.
Oh, in the round like that, a shot to go ahead and grab yourself two. That doesn't help your case at all for UNA. Already a collateral to come through for that first shot. A double kill here for Bubs just right off the get-go. You sit there and say, okay, what else you got to play with? Well, not too much. You know that they don't have themselves too many weapons we were working with. They're going to go for somewhat of a budget buy here. So they're going to have Classic, Spectres, whatever the name is. And Vocula can at least finesse one kill there. SPH won as well. So an even exchange here. Still a 3v3. You can pick up these guns and really make some work here this round. But I mean, with all the damage already done, you know you don't have nearly the kind of health in the pool because you don't have yourself a Sky or a Sage to heal these things up. I mean, especially Vocula, that huge clutch player that we've seen on so many different occasions, at least in this map thus far. I mean, that's the one player you want to keep alive. She's been a huge impact player thus far, and knowing that she doesn't really have the health to back herself up right now and really stay alive in scenarios like these, it makes the job that much harder at least to get on the site. But you know that other players are going to be split up. You have the overwhelming number advantage right now because Cypher's still on the other side of the map, playing things slow and steady, looking to work off that camera. Bubs is also holding an angle right there on the Jet. And there it is. SPH falls as well.
Bubs is looking for this ace right here. I mean, he wants it. He wants it so bad. Ooh. 10 seconds, so I just have to automatically put bomb down. Ooh, 1v2 situation.
I mean, come on. Who is it? It's obviously Vocula, but still, you sit there, you have a penetrable wall right there. You can't really do too much. You get that spike down, and you make negligible damage, I would say. You don't really have too much to be stressing about in these next couple rounds, but Shmoovy can go ahead and pick up that operator. You still have another teammate alive. Auburn has himself a win streak going on thus far in terms of rounds, so they can go ahead and buy themselves back regardless. Biggest thing is you just want to make sure to pick up the gun that costs the most at the end of the day. So with 4 ultimates now for the side of UNA, this could be a round that they really turn things around, but I mean, still, you got to invest that Blade Storm. You have to pray that SPH really goes off with it. You have to sit there and put that old baby cage or the KJ shutdown in an area that's not going to go ahead and get breached by breach once again, as what we saw earlier. And just so much to stack up onto right now that, I mean, almost UNA can make it possible. We just have to see a correct game plan to really bring that into fruition.
Yeah, they're just going to play these ultimates outright and get these trades off the way that they want them to get it off, or just straight up just win their gunfights. And I mean, if they're able to do that, I think they'll be able to clean up with at least 1 to no ults used in a round if they just win their gunfights and get some picks off and play together.
And already a little bit of an odd split here, going ahead and crouching across the way on that zip line, making it slow and steady, but you still finesse yourself that first kill and you go ahead and pick off deck. So that's a great start there. You make sure to get close enough to sight where you can put down those smokes here for no money here, but now, with the orbital strike coming out and the KJ shut down, 2 ultimates already being invested right here. We got to see the exchange here from Auburn. You get the Blaze Storm coming out from old SPH and Bubs, but Bubs gets shut down first as SPH wins that gunfight. You know you had the backup from your baby cage. You know you have all the defense in the world from the rest of your squad, but Rue is now coming on the rear on towards that satellite dish area and through the middle of the map as well. A full retake coming in here for Auburn, trying to sit there and finesse whatever they can right off that drop it.
Yeah, I mean, that pick on the Bubs right there from SPH, brain freeze right there, my fault. But that was a huge pick right there because, I mean, that was like their kind of star player for Auburn right now. And the fact that he's down, Rue goes down as well. Oh, but it's just smoothing in a 1v2 situation with bomb down. The only way this is going to go anywhere is if we just have to put, nope, that's it.
Well, surprisingly enough, there it is. A round for UNA. We said we needed it. We said they wanted it. And quite honestly, they found a way to pull it out. With Vocula still being the last player alive there, you get the spike down, you invest 2 ultimates. But I feel like that's a pretty negligible price to pay when you sit there and find yourself a round win finally, especially when you didn't have really the guns to back it up. You didn't have to invest too much there. You get yourself back onto the board. You get yourself into somewhat of a, I'd say, relevancy within this matchup thus far, knowing you're still keeping it within 2 rounds. So with all Auburn now having the same exact amount of rounds, having themselves still that lead to be working with, and still having plenty of, I'd say, a safety net to be working with thus far, and nobody really picking up the operator there. Nobody trying to capitalize on the drops that were on the ground besides Vocula, with the only player being there to do that. It all comes down to who gets the first pick right here in this 9th round. I mean, you already see Dex looking to go ahead, get aggressive towards these dives, trying to find a pick, but can't really finesse anything. Can get some damage off, but SPH ends up going ahead and coming out on top there. No money here, also backing down. Finding himself a second to back up that 1 kill, so now making it a 3v5 as you're looking to go ahead and get yourself on the site. But Rue has to retreat backwards as we sit there and see the showstopper coming out, interestingly enough.
Oh, Guppy does fall there, though, but I mean, UNA is set up right here, and Rue with another pick on the Squib there. 3v3 situation, bomb down. Oh, but Rue gets no money here. And Rue's just kind of popping off right now. I mean, UNA's just had to, like, push out of there, just that way they can regroup a little bit. And Auburn's got control of the site right now. Ooh, good shots.
Ooh, and Vocula's got control of the entire side is what it looks like with these shots that come through. Already found himself for 2. Now make it 3rd for the girl. She's doing it once again. And same player. I mean, if anybody's going to clutch, it's always been her. I mean, she is obviously, if anything really does come out in this entire map thus far, it's going to be her. She sat there and been the catalyst for every single round that's really going ahead and came into the favor of UNA thus far. There's maybe one occasion we saw an even exchange and no players were left standing at the end of it, and that was on round 2. But I mean, ever since then, you can go ahead and wipe that record off and call it a clean slate because she's been doing everything you need your Sentinel to do. I mean, I've sat there and seen her on this KJ on so many different occasions. She's always been the one player to impress me the most.
Yeah, I mean, she's just going absolutely crazy coming in clutch for UNA right here, and I think she's just the one that's keeping UNA in this game right now. Because I mean, it could be 9-0 right now. Oh, Buzz with a huge pick right there, though, starting off with that operator. Bubs has been kind of almost unstoppable with this operator at hand, just getting the first pick and just backing up and letting his team do the rest pretty much.
Yeah, you got to sit there and find the right exchanges. I mean, that's all down to Bubs. Finding all those huge picks right off the get with that operator now, making it into second in this round at least.
Ooh. Going
ahead and making that big differential. But there's Guppy able to go ahead and find that shot. Dex with the exchange finding 2. That's a massive 2 picks right there. You pick off the duelist, you go ahead and pick off Vocula as well. And that's a massive player to go ahead and pick off. But there it is, Squip making sure to get somewhat of an equalizer on the board right now. With Dex also standing a huge flick there for the man. Looking for that last 1v1. Looking to also pick up that spike, plant it as well, and get that bonus money to be working with for the rest of his team. But he knows that another player's around the vicinity. He doesn't know it's at the door, so he knows it's right there in the middle. Finds a shot, makes it a 3K down for the round, and ties it up for UNA.
He might be 3-9 right now, but those 3 kills are probably the most important kills that he's gotten probably ever, because I mean that just tied it up for UNA. That helps their economy so much, and it's now it's a tie game right now.
That's all that really matters, man. You want to make sure to tie things up. Like I said, it all comes down to a fight for relevancy here. I mean, if you're not really relevant in the fight, sure, we've seen comebacks from like maybe I'd say 11-2, something crazy like that, where you're like, well, I mean, this game's obviously going to be scrapped at this point. Well, Squib obviously is saying that things aren't scrapped yet. We are now in a tie game. I don't need to invest any money in this round at least. We know that most likely Bub's going to be buying an operator. Even though that's not really the case this time, he's going to get more aggressive with that Vandal. You're looking to go ahead and have that 20 force in hand. Really find these huge picks, especially get that slowing field into the play. So we already see right there the whole stun field trying to come through, the breach trying to make an impact here in the round, not knowing that somebody's going to be on the aggression there, and that's going to be Guppy able to go ahead and manage that first kill. But Dex with even exchange, and it looks like UNA is going to get the presence on this side.
Oh, but Schmoovin does get 2 there. That's a huge 2K right there, and Squib is just going to have to back up here along with SPH here. But 2 operators, basically. I mean, Chamber Old and just the op in general. I don't know what UNA is going to do here to try and potentially clutch it up. They might just need to get a pick or 2, or maybe just get 1 and then just wait it out maybe. I mean, I'm still new and I'm still trying to learn all these Valorant strategies, so you let me know.
Well, I mean, I think it all comes down to getting that spike down first. I mean, you're in a 2v3 scenario. You knew Auburn has control of the site. You know they sat there and shut down the planter, so you don't really have too much control right now. You're really in a sticky situation. If you can finesse 1 there, that's a good start, but Bubs having that Vandal in hand, now making it a 2v1. SPH with this operator does not want to push up. That's the problem with the Jet being on the attacking side with that operator in hand. You don't get aggressive. You don't get into the fight. And as a duelist, that's your one job. And now you just really, and you're completely absent from where you need to be. So with only 35 health remaining, he's obviously trying to look for a pick here, but that's going to be a huge problem when you sit there and know that you don't want to lose this, especially giving over to Bubs, who's still alive. That's the worst thing you want to do, seeing how well he's performed it thus far. So the missed shot there towards the end, but not too big of a deal. You sit there and know that Auburn is now up around, and we're only 1 round off from being at this half here for the map, and a pretty even performance from both sides this far, regardless of the dominant performance of the Vocula and Bubs on each side.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just comes down to who gets the picks first, I feel like. I mean, if Bubs gets the picks, and it just makes it hard for UNA, and then vice versa, you know? I mean, they both have outstanding players right now that are kind of just being that anchor for their team to be like, hey, we're still in this, we can keep going, we can win this thing. And, I mean, it just comes out to who can just do a little bit more than the other at this point. They can make it 6-6, though. This would be huge going into the half.
We're seeing a lot of 6-6s thus far. I mean, we're seeing a lot of 1s-for-1s. We're seeing kind of even exchanges across the board, and that's really good for the likes of UNA. But, I mean, even then, Auburn is the one who's usually striking first, so you want to make sure to go ahead and cut out those dividends. You want to make sure that you have yourself somewhat of an equal playing field, and there it is. Going ahead, making it 1-for-1 in terms of the trades. I'm going to go ahead and get yourself on site, and Squib looking to go ahead and grab at least another kill into the board, but you can only finesse 1 there on the boosted. So Bubs grabs that kill. Still a little dinged up from the process, though, with that Headhunter able to go ahead and grab at least a shot there to make it now dwindle to a little bit less health. But, I mean, still, you have so much to put on the field. It's the last round of the half, so if you're Dex, you're saying, all right, well, I still have this overcharge. I got to rush in. I got to Emperor Palpatine this, and you just can't finesse a kill just yet. So still, you get 2 players still alive. You're trying to get the kill there. Bubs with a massive flick. Good God. Knowing that, okay, that's a preempted Nanoswarm to come down. We now only have at least 1 on site, or at least the last one to come through. You had the Blade Storm. You had the ultimate from that kill alone. You're trying to go ahead and put the pressure on the side, but you can't exactly do it knowing the players are in heaven. You are now being sent to heaven as we sit there and see the timer and the round count get into an equal game thus far. 6-6 here on the first half of the first map. Auburn and UNA giving us a pretty big ringer.
I mean, this is just like a sludge match right now. I mean, UNA's throwing punches, Auburn's throwing punches. I mean, this is a very even game right now. For map 1, I mean, these are 2 very good teams just putting all their all into it. And I mean, right now it's even. And I mean, I think there's going to be 1 or 2 plays here that might just give one team the slight advantage, just take this map altogether, I feel like, towards the end.
Yeah, and I think it also comes down to whether or not we can see these star performers once again, because Vocula, being on the attacking side, she was in every single fight. She was pushing with the squad. She was able to go ahead and put those gun skills to use with the rest of the team. Now it's almost more of a gamble, knowing that Bubs is going to go ahead and engage every single fight. Being in that duelist role, he's going to do his job, but maybe not this time with Squib already grabbing that first kill. A huge start here for the round, but still, the push is still coming out. You know players are pushing into the spawn, and Guppy's going to be there for the answer. Surprisingly enough, Schmoovin throwing the spike into the spawn, and Boosted and Dex are there for the exchange. Now still a 2v2. You know the Vocula is going to go ahead and at least grab a kill, get her fair share of blood at least in this round, but still 2v2. You know that the spike is there in spawn because old Schmoovin earlier really put it in that bad spot. You go ahead and set up the defense around it. I mean, that's as Vocula, a Sentinel. That's going to be your best job. That's what you do the most, but still this round, this is where you fall a little bit short. You don't manage to grab the kill there. You know that last player, SPH, is going to be right there towards a drop. So what do? You make a little bit of a rotate. Say, all right, now B side is essentially free. We want to go ahead and get this plant, get that regardless of whether we win or lose. We want the extra 300 on that.
Yeah, and I mean, the only way I feel like they can't push nothing right here because they're both super low HP compared to SPH here, and I mean, she has a little more survivability in some of these gunfights unless there's just a nasty flake that just comes over in one shot.
30 seconds left.
But oh, they're planning it over at A right here. They completely faked her out right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the play. You want to sit there and make sure that you're playing on defense. You want to sit there and set up these crosses, and that's exactly what Rue's doing. Still in the middle of the map, still lining up there and managing the shots there. Regardless of how low of health you still find yourself, you at least find yourself a round win at the end of the day, especially the first one here on this half. So you can go ahead and get that first round. You can find yourself the aggressive weapon buys of the Spectre and the Marshals to go ahead and make sure to say, look, we can get ourselves a free second. But it all comes down to the play style as well, because I've sat there and seen a lot of teams here recently going ahead and opting for Marshals on round 2 instead of, I'd say, especially on the when you're on the defensive side, because you can go ahead and hold those angles, and you know it's going to be a one-shot threshold, at least in the body and the head. But I mean, as the game goes along, Spectres are so much more expensive, and that's kind of the biggest trade-off, is that you save yourself 700 creds off that alone. You can make that exchange later, even buy a rifle if you end up losing this round, but still making yourself relevant and getting a couple picks in the process. But we're talking about the process. Auburn is moving that process around to the A side. It's moving. Already finds that first pick on the Squib, and everybody else is already on site.
Yeah, I mean, SPH also going down there from Dex, and I mean, UNA's just split right here. I mean, you talked about earlier how you had to play just split, but all like thin, but still close to each other. I mean, UNA would just kind of just got picked off right there. I mean, there was nothing they could really do, and now 1v4 situation and flash to death. I mean, can't do nothing about that right there.
Yeah, if anybody's going to pull off a kill right there in that round, it was obviously going to be Vocula to at least manage one, so you know that's one player that doesn't have that weapon anymore to be dishing out, but you're not really too beat up about it, knowing that it's going to be Auburn's bonus round. They already found themselves the first 2 of this half. They're saying, okay, not a big deal, problem to really be worried about. I mean, we have ourselves so much on the board. We have ourselves a 2-round lead. We have a winning streak. And sure, this is going to be our bonus now. We invested a little bit of money in these Spectres, but it may be able to pay off here. They can go ahead and grab a couple kills, at least pick off, I'd say, 3 of these players. Get the majority of them. Get more than half. They can find themselves in a really comfortable sitting in the next one, knowing that they're going to have to buy anyways, because they're going to drop these Spectres eventually, whether they're forced to or whether they do it by choice.
Yeah, I mean, the side of UNA pretty much all has rifles right here, and I mean, oh, wow, SPH just had 4 people, yeah. I mean, UNA has all rifles, and they have no money right now, which is, they need to win this round right here if they want to do anything to try and build any type of momentum.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, they've sat there, already got themselves something, and there's Vocula managing something, a little more than something with a 3K. I mean, every single time when I know the observer's going to, or something crazy is about to happen. I mean, just you already had that kind of premonition, like you're a fortune teller, but still, you can tell the fortune, at least for the attacking side, that you're eventually going to get that spike down. Dex goes ahead, pops that overcharge, looks to go ahead and get that ultimate on the field, but can't really manage too much except for one kill into Squib there, and it eventually runs out. So now Schmoving going ahead, being caught in a crossfire, looking to go ahead and make one way, and go ahead and grab that kill into Guppy as well. So you know that the last player was a middle. You got the peek earlier, now you find the kill with 2 for this round. You sit there and close things out, and you say now it's a 9-6 lead. You started with nothing but Spectres, but you come out finding yourself 2 free rifles in the process. A really good look here for Auburn.
Auburn's just playing this whole attacking side just almost perfectly. I mean, even though that Volcula just got a 3K, it just kind of it was just like it didn't matter at the end of the day. Cause I mean, like, they just came out and they just positioned themselves very, very well, and they just took over, took a round. Now they're up. Now they're up 3 rounds with a win streak, and they've got money, and UNA doesn't really have a lot to spend on here.
Yeah, so we could say this could almost, in some extent, be a free round 10 if they go ahead and check the right spots. But, I mean, Dex already going ahead, checking that left corner, making sure that Squib can't really get a free kill off there. Both managed to kill there with the Phantom onto sight. So now A is completely free for the side of Auburn to just put the spike down. And they're not even going ahead and planning yet. They're just saying, Dex, go ahead, crit some space for us. We know there's a couple more players around. Let's get these kills. Let's push into sight. And there's Guppy finding that first kill here for the side of UNA. Finally an answer. 4-1 now. This is going to be the side of Auburn, having that man advantage, looking at a double swing and to manage that kill, saying, look, you can't save. We don't want you to have these rifles. We know that we want to hurt your economy as much as possible to where you can't fight for anything in this half thus far.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn just has all the momentum right now, and they're just confirming these picks, getting the first picks, and I mean, they're just going crazy right here on this attacking side, and UNA really hasn't found an answer yet to it.
That's just a big problem, man. I mean, obviously, it's a problem when you sit there and see that. I mean, you're expecting somewhat of an exchange right there in round 3 when you lose those first 2 like you're expecting. You're like, okay, no biggie. We sit there. We know we lost a pistol. We bounce back right now because we had the rifles in hand. Well, that's the kind of the problem that Brimstone provides, along with the breach on the attacking side as well. You sit there, you have a stun, you have a stem, you have yourself to speed up not only yourself, but slow down your opposition. You have yourself a double advantage to be working with, and once you grab that first pick, it's almost like a domino effect. If you're that much better of a player, you get to kill with that rifle, your teammate picks up that one, and then just as far as you know, the entire team gets overwhelming. So there it is, already Bub's trying to get onto site, but Vocula, being that player on A now, does manage at least one, but the even exchange comes through, or at least a better one for the side of Auburn as they go ahead and just completely collapse on the site. Still a 4v1 scenario. Squib with the torty force out, but can't really manage to kill there. Rue finds it, and instead, almost a flawless round here for the likes of Auburn, but still not really too big up about it as they have themselves so much of a round string together right now. I mean, the entire half thus far, 5 rounds, won purely off just slays alone. I mean, this is... I mean, I'm just not sure what UNA could do here. I'm expecting them to go ahead and create somewhat of a mix-up, but when you see that that was their round, that was their retaliation, and they can go ahead, they know they're going to have enough for next, knowing that the safety net's going to be behind them, and know they can buy somewhat of a gun here. I mean, and when you can't really fight with the rifles, you have to have somewhat more of a setup, and I think Vocula is going to be the key to this, because we finally see Auburn pushing onto a site where we see Vocula, where we see that Sentinel presence, because otherwise, Squib is the only other Sentinel with any kind of slowdown. So here it is, the ultimate coming down as well, but even then the orbital strike comes on top of it.
She is just getting
that's Vocula. She's
ulted.
getting trapped.
I mean, there was nothing that she could do right there. I mean, she was just stuck. Slowed, stuck, nothing. Oh, but no money here, the flank right here with a huge pick on the Rue, but SPH does go down, and then Boosted just glides through, and wow. I mean, Auburn's just moving too quick right here for UNA. I mean, UNA is moving slower, and Auburn's just, they know exactly what they want to do, and they're just going for it. No regards to nothing else, just going.
And it's just kind of how they played the game. They sat there and said, sure, we can't really be too beat up about that first half, but knowing that, I mean, we're a lot more even across the board. You're expecting UNA to be somewhat aggressive, but also really defensive as well, knowing that they have themselves a controller, they have themselves a pretty good middle ground to be working off of, but they have no initiator. I mean, they have just a double duels to be working off of. When you don't have an overwhelming presence, when you're not finding those kills, that's what duelists are supposed to do. Trade themselves out. At least go 1 for 1. When you miss that one key factor, it makes your job a heck of a lot harder.
Yeah, and here's that huge, Bubs with another pick on the Squib right there. First huge pick, and I mean, they're just going to flash and push straight to B, or A right here. I mean, UNA saw that. Oh, but SPH does get Bubs, so that's a huge pick right there. but it looks like UNA is just going to get cornered here now. As Spike does go down. And if there's going to be one person to clutch it up, it's her. Oh, there's one. 2v1 situation, but she does go down, and that's it. What a clean half from Auburn right there. I mean, they just completely dominated. Just completely unfair right there for the side of UNA. They had no answer to nothing, and their economy was just shot the entire round. But that first half right there on both sides, it looked very promising for the next map potentially.
Yeah, and even then, I wouldn't say just for that entire half. I mean, they were still looking pretty good, I would say, in that first one as well. UNA just kind of, I feel like, fell asleep at the wheel. When you only have yourself that double sentinel, we didn't see too many trademarks being set up from the likes of Squib. We didn't see too much presence of a site where Vocula was always there in the fray to be working on that. Because, I mean, we sat there and talked about how much of a key she was to really every single round success. And she was at the top of the leaderboard for the entire game, keep in mind. Sitting at 24 and 15, outslayed every single Auburn player, regardless of how well they performed in that second half. Still going ahead, finding so many kills to really create that legacy, I would say, in the entirety of that map. But when you sit there on defense, I mean, you can set up only on one site as a KJ. You can't really do too much. You want to make sure to go ahead and hunker down, lock off a side of the map. Auburn was winning these 50-50s, saying, okay, we need to go to one site. And if we sit there and see Vocula, if we see a KJ turret, get out right now. Do not go there, because we know she's our problem. She is our counter, as it seems. If we can rush the other site knowing we're only going to run into a chamber to slow us down, we can't worry about that. That's not a problem. Squid's found picks here and there, but not enough to really go ahead and create a huge roadblock for us. So let's just keep on pushing. Press that W key and find ourselves a dub.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Auburn, they knew exactly what they wanted to do with that attacking side. They had full control. They were in the driver's seat, just absolutely just dominating. Because, I mean, if Volcula isn't there, I mean, what can UNA do, really, it felt like? I mean, they seemed almost like lost, because Auburn knew exactly what they were doing. They're like, stay away from this person. We can handle a 4v1 if we wipe everyone else out. But if, I mean, she gets the first pick or the second pick even, and then 3v5, I mean, what can you do? So, I mean, Auburn played that extremely well that second half, and I mean, it was just swift domination right there from Auburn.
Yeah, most definitely was. And even then, I mean, discussing the likes of what we had for both of them, I mean, already looking to be somewhat ready for this next map to be coming through, which I'll go ahead and give a prelude that is going to be Ascent. When you sit there and discuss what's going to be provided here, you need someone of the exact same setup, just in a different regard. You can't have yourself that kind of weird thing that we saw earlier with a double duelist and then a double sentinel, then just a controller right in the middle. You need a Sova. That is just kind of plain and simple. Sova is a cornerstone here on Ascent. I've sat there and seen it on so many different occasions where if you don't pick a Sova, or at least a KO is somewhat of a compromise there, when you have no intel to be working off of, that is a huge problem. As we already see the setups coming through, we know these players are going to be getting right into this lobby. We can already see the agent selection coming out. Schmoovin will at least go ahead and bring up this KO. I've seen Auburn here on Ascent a lot of times, so I know at least that's going to be provided from them. And Dex on that chamber, I think I really like that pick, knowing that he was right on that last map sitting at a neon. You still find that pseudo duelist. You still get aggressive. You still make these plays, and you still have the intel to back it up.
I completely agree with you right there. And I mean, this KO coming out here, I think that'll be huge for the side of Auburn right here with that KO. And I mean, it looks like it's going to be pretty much the same setup for the side of UNA. But maybe Guppy's deciding if he wants to do the KO right here and lock that in. But I mean, Bub's on the jet. Dex going over to that chamber right there. That'll also be huge. Yeah, Guppy does do the KO right there. And then the Reyna does come out as well from SPH right there. So, I mean, slight changes in the compositions from both teams. But, I mean, UNA just has to defend here. I mean, if they can defend, they can handle attacking, as you can see from that last map right there. But other than that, I mean, if UNA can't defend, I mean, it's kind of just a GG, I feel like. Because, I mean, Auburn knows exactly what they're doing when they attack. But, I mean, if UNA can't get those picks on defense, I mean, there's not a lot they can do for the rest of the map, I feel like.
Yeah, and I feel like at least on this map that UNA has somewhat more of a chance. Looking at the sites, they're a lot more small than what we see on Fracture. You can't really rotate as easily, and even then discussing kind of the middle map presence, that's also going to be a huge factor because there is no middle map on Fracture. That's just defender spawn. That's not somebody else's kind of free ground. That's not something you have to really work for. It's already handed over to the defense. So when you sit there and look at the likes of Ascent, where you can go ahead, have that 50-50, you can have that setup, you can go ahead and fight towards a spawn regardless of what side you're on. The one question I did really have comparative to that was what UNA's doing here in terms of this agent selection, because I don't know if I've really seen too much like it. Every single time I haven't seen a Sova on Ascent, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I have not seen something where a team can win without a Sova. So, I mean, we have to see this. We have to see, I mean, Guppy's KO be out freaking standing and be overwhelming in terms of just having all this kind of an impact in the matchup, as much as Vocula did in that last map, to really sit there and say that we can warrant this decision. We can say that it's worth it, because otherwise it's just going to sit there and say the stats speak for themselves.
I mean, I don't really know too much about compositions in Valorant. I'm learning just along with some of you people probably at home who are just watching because your friends play the game. But I mean, but SPH gets to get the first hit on Squibb, and that's actually kind of huge. And then Squibb right there with the shorty gets bubs. I mean, UNA is pushing that aggression right now. They are pushing and securing these. Or not? They're not even. I just realized. Never mind. SPH does get those takes, just like I was saying about being on the defending side. But Boosted does get Guppy there.
Oh, and that was a massive flank there coming out from Rue, but it just couldn't really come into full fruition. As you do sit there and see that the kills come out, we see the presence from UNA, and we see the fights going to their side as well. So a pistol round in their hand, they have themselves a little bit more money to be working with this next one. Even though you see them picking up pistols and such, they know that they're not going to even be using those in the next round. You may see possibly one of the players do it, maybe Squibb, I could say. I mean, going ahead and saving up for that, saying you've got yourself a headhunter, so you're playing it slow, you're waiting for that operator so you can have that middle presence, so you can go ahead and lock off these sight lines, sit there and say that, well, this operator can go ahead and knock off anybody in the middle of the map, and it's going to force them to smoke every single time and invest some utility there. But now with the switch around coming through, we're going to see that Auburn, I'm not going to expect too much out of them here. I mean, they're just looking to find at least a kill or two. They're not trying to work out any miracle, just they're saving themselves up for that next round. But if they push onto this B side, this could probably be the worst decision they can make, knowing that, A, you have Vocula on this side, and B, you have the 3 players from the side of UNA. The majority of their team set up there as well.
I mean, UNA plays like that every single defending round right here. I mean, I could see map 3 happening. No, that's 3 down though. That's 4. Wow. UNA is really just. This is how UNA should have played last map right here. Kind of pushing the aggression, let them come in a little bit, push them, team wipe basically, and make it very difficult to make Auburn do anything. And I mean, this is just huge.
I mean, we can't really get too ahead of ourselves, though. I mean, we sit there and see that the likes of everybody on UNA, they have all these better weapons. They have the SMGs in hand. They just have a better setup. I mean, nobody in Auburn bought anything. They got no armor. They had no weapons to be dishing out. And even then, the only thing you had to rely on was Rue with that chamber. So, I mean, still, you want to save that ammo. You want to sit there and see what you can work out, sit there and use this time to say, look, don't be beat up if we do get wiped out like that. If we give themselves a flawless, even then, sometimes it's better to make it a flawless. If you know that you're not going to win that round, if you don't have the setup right off the get-go, because you sit there and force all these players on the defending side to say, look, you have to get that Spectre. If you're going to drop that, that's a stupid decision, knowing that you have no money saved up thus far and you're really just putting everything to waste. So we see the exchange coming through. We see the aggression onto this A site, and we already see him getting set up for this. Already a lot of aggression to come out.
Yeah, Auburn just said, you know what, enough of that. We gave them 2 rounds, that's it. We're going to push through, plant bomb. There's nothing they can do about it. But no, I mean, the reason why I say that is just because, I mean, if UNA just plays a little more confidently, I feel like, in those positions, they're able to get these easy rounds off and start getting a little bit of a lead and just get a general confidence boost in taking these duels later on in the match.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good point to be made, but even then you gotta look at the aggression from both sides, because overall, I mean, Chamber and Squibb on that Chamber, that's the one player who can play aggressive. He can get right in the face of them, he can snap his fingers and then sit there and say, I'm outie. I went ahead, got my pick, we're now up a player, and we can play for these trades over the course of the match. And I sat there and also get the intel to know how many players are pushing on this site. But I mean, as it looks thus far, we sat there and saw the snap of the fingers, and once again, Auburn found themselves that first round win in a flawless fashion, just to answer back, knowing they had these rifles in hand. So now, I want to see really where they want to go ahead and take this next round, knowing that Vocula's going to be set up on that B site where we typically see the KJ, and whether or not you're going to find yourself all these huge kills, which I think Vocula definitely could if you push this B side, but instead it looks like they're going to find themselves more of a little bit of mid pressure, trying to fight for the entirety of the map.
Yeah, but I feel like they might be a little questionable about pushing mid right here just because of the second round right there. But I mean, you never know. They might just be like, oh, we got rifles this time, you know, we might just take over. Because first time we didn't have rifles, we only had pistols, we didn't spend no money. They put everything in to win that round, and no, Shmoo gets that first pick off right there on no money here. They're all just kind of stuck in mid.
Playing it slow, looking for picks, looking for anybody to go ahead and overextend, knowing that you still have full control middle map for the likes of Auburn. You're not trying to get overzealous here. You're trying to go ahead and see if anybody on UNA wants to go ahead and get and find that first pick. Trying to go ahead and answer for that because you know you've already lost that first man and things aren't looking too well for yourself. So you go ahead, you cross right through tree, and you grab a great shot if your bubs on the likes of Squib, and you push onto site. So still only 46 health remaining, but you're not really too beat up about it because SPH will find an exchange there. Now making it a 4v3 instead of a 4v5 here for the side of Auburn, trying to go ahead and get that spike in and hold it as well. A pretty large retake to come out right now. SPH and Vocula, the last two players alive right now, having to each kill two players respectively. And SPH, haven't seen too much of it there, but there's the second, at least in this round. You need yourself one more, and Vocula to step up as well. But being picked off already, you go ahead and pop that Empress. That's a little bit cocky if you ask me, because you go ahead, you get shut down, and you can't really push yourself on the site. And that's, once again, Auburn grabbing their second round to answer things back, and 3 players to stay alive at the end towards it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the play of the Empress coming out right there. I mean, maybe if you got one more minute 2v1, pop it. But I mean, 1v3 situation, bombs down, you don't have a lot of time. You have no idea where anyone else is. I mean, I don't know if that was the smartest usage of that. But nevertheless, Auburn's just, they're trying to take control of whatever momentum UNA had right there.
You do have some game sense, Nato.
A little bit, yeah.
Like I like that. That was a legitimately good call. I'm like low-key kind of proud of that.
Well, I got a little caught in me, you know. I mean, got a little caught. I know some game sense, but
you know
I mean,
that S&D mode. You know when to call it quits. Well, you know when to fold.
Yes, I know how S&D works in COD. Kind of wish COD was in the main stage a little bit, but I mean, I'm not that mad about it because I have absolutely no idea how Vanguard works.
No, we definitely don't. I sat there casting CCL. I can tell you, Alabama is stacked with some great talent here. But if we're talking about great talent, we have ourselves a great round on our hands. We can already see it now being a 3v3 with 2v2 on the board as well in terms of rounds. But Rue goes ahead, making sure that equalizer is not in effect anymore. You find that first pick, at least in this kind of setup of the post plant. Bubs goes ahead and backs up, finds one as well. They're trying to strafe back and forth to get some intel where the players should be at. But it's only SPH with nothing but a frenzy in hand, and you can't really fight too much with something like that. So 3 players still alive, 3 ultimates here for the side of Auburn, and now a third round to go ahead and back it up as well.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn's just kind of rolling here. I mean, they haven't died. They begin the picks. They're just stacking their money up right now. I mean, they're just kind of taking control. They don't have to use anything. They just kind of push through, get the pick they need, and just play methodically and just take over. And I think that's the one thing that UNA's kind of been struggling with here. But the one thing that they have improved on a little bit is taking fights a little more confidently, I feel like. I mean, they had like the first few rounds, they got their confidence up a little bit to take these gunfights, but I mean, we'll just have to wait and see.
Let's play. Yeah, they just got to find themselves a round right here, knowing that they have the bye, and there it is. Squib with that first pick. That's a really good start, and you hear the ring of an operator there in the distance, so you start to question, you're saying, where's that coming from? That was a really loud weapon, and I know it's pretty scary, at least in the hands of Bubs, and I mean, nobody really has it yet, so I mean, that's the kind of most confusing part about it. Instead, it's Dex with that old Torty Force in hand. That's exactly what it is when you sit there and see that green porch from the top. Boost is going to find a kill as well. Now already a 4v2. As UNA is just trying to hold on to this B site, SPH is set up on the outside and can't really finesse that kill right there towards that spawn. So Vocula, being the last person standing to really make an answer right now, if anybody could do it, she can. But problem is, you had that 24 set up right there towards CT. You know it's going to be watching that long angle, trying to go ahead and set up and find that easy kill. That is if you get through all the road bumps that get you towards that site. Knowing that right there on the edge, there's Rue, right around the corner, stacked up on a crate in a very weird angle that you don't really typically expect, finding that kill. And making now 4 players alive for the 4th round here. Maybe if they find themselves a 5th, they'll have all 5 alive and it could be a flawless. I mean, if you're UNA, you don't want to let that happen.
Absolutely not, because I mean, Auburn just hasn't been dying. I mean, they'll get the first pick, one person dies, but it doesn't matter because, I mean, everyone else has so much money and they can just throw it around like nothing. And they're just able to stack their money up, and even if they lose this next round, they still have the next round to just have plenty of money and stuff afterwards just to buy whatever they need to. I mean, UNA just needs to get a few more kills right off the get-go. Oh.
Well,
Esh moving pops this KO ult to push this B site.
I don't really know how I feel about this play when you know that they don't really have too many weapons to be working with, so I think Auburn's looking to almost find themselves a flawless round to really overinvest with that ultimate, because they've already found the kill into SPH. You know in the back you have Squib on that Torty Force with the free operator in hand, but another ultimate that can't really be ignored. It's going to be that orbital strike, going ahead and flushing all these players out towards the edge, but Boost is going to go ahead and say it doesn't matter. Push us, baby. Come right onto this site. Take it if you want it. Boy, I'm going to find myself with 2K. Vocula will exchange for one there towards that spawn, but Squib will find one as well with that Torty Force in hand. Now a 3v1. He's the last man standing. He's got to make a clutch play, but he just doesn't check his left, and that's Rue. Finding the last kill here for the second one in a row, making sure that Auburn get themselves up to a 5-2 lead.
I mean, they can only get, like, what, one kill right there? Vocula gets the one kill right there, and I mean, that investment of the ult right there was kind of questionable from Squib because, I mean, it's basically a 1v4 at that point. And he may have popped it before everyone else died, but either way, I mean, you've got 2 ults to work with here, and you have no money pretty much. So, I mean, it's looking very grim for the side of UNA right now compared to Auburn's stacked money and stacked ultimates, just ready to be popped at a whim.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of the point of Chamber, though, almost kind of like a jet ult with that Blade Storm. If you have a free weapon that can really just kill people in one shot like that, you want to invest it in a round where you don't have anything to buy, because it's almost, you're not going to use it when you have something at your disposal already. It almost feels like a waste of that stage when you know you're not going to be able to put it out. So already, we sit there and talk about operators. Well, right there, the other Chamber having one in hand, but Squid making sure to make an even exchange of his own being a Chamber. Still, though, a 4v3 as we see Auburn looking to go ahead and rotate around the map, say, look, they're probably pushing A if they're moving through the middle of the map. They're on Catwalk. They have that triple stack right there. But are they going to push Tree or are they going to push right towards Spike? Well, that's already going for Spike because they could sit there. You have a 2-2 split. Dex is set up on Catwalk and finds that kill as well into SPH. So now it's all down to Guppy and Vocula. Vocula is maintained to stay alive every single time, but when you get suppressed right there, you know she's pushing back towards spawn. You look to overwhelm her with utility as she's now the last one standing in this 4v1 scenario, trying to go back for that bomb. As much as I respect her as a player and as outstanding as she is, I think she just saves because right there, if you peek anywhere, you're going to be met with some shots.
Yeah, Dex with a 3K there. I mean, there was really nothing that she could do because, I mean, there was people just all around her. I mean, you saw from underneath, someone was just shooting at her from heaven, or to heaven, I should say. And then you had 2 just sitting in the garden, and she was just almost like trapped and couldn't even push the bomb. I mean, Auburn's just kind of got this whole attacking side just on lockdown. I mean, it's almost like UNA just can't really find a way to fight back. I mean, and 6 rounds in a row, straight to Auburn. I mean, not a lot that they can do here.
Yeah, I mean, we said there saw the first 2 go for the side of UNA when they had the pistol, but I mean, this is kind of where you excel in these fights. Honestly, you have yourself the Sentinel. You have probably one of the best Sentinels I've seen, at least in terms of being in Alabama, at least for this entire main stage. That, I mean, Vocula's been that go-to gal. She has sat there and been relevant and sat there and been an overwhelming force in every single fight, but I mean, when she's going ahead and having to play for retakes, that's a big problem. She has to set up on the site that they're already moving into where she has the advantage. She has the setup already. But if we're talking about setup, there's Squib setting up the round for the rest of the team. I'm going to go ahead and advantage one, but Boosted and Dex, both of the trades saying, look, you sit there and found 1. We're going to find 2. That's just that much better, and we can do whatever we need to with it. So already getting also the recon dart towards the back, you sit there and know that there's a couple players there. You make the call to say, let's rotate A. We already found that kill towards that area in the map. That's going to go ahead and thin out the area a little bit so make sure we have ourselves some more breathing room to be working with. And if we're talking about breathing room, Bub's looking to just completely suffocate UNA in this spawn, trying to push up in this spawn a little bit, trying to be on heaven, and can't manage that kill to no money here. Already making it a 2v4.
I mean, Guppy with this Marshall here, I don't know what he's going to do with that. Yeah, I mean, against an AR, Vocula is just the last one alive again. I mean, there's really nothing she can do. She just has to back up here.
It's just really unfortunate for her because, like, every single time is like they know exactly where she is. And honestly, I don't blame them for saying that we don't go there. If she's A, go B. If she's B, go A. Never hit the same side as Vocula. And the one time they opted to go for that site was when you know that Schmoovin had that ultimate. You had that shutdown. You had that suppression saying that even if we meet her on site, if we meet her as a 5v1 because UNA is trusting her, she's trusted with their entire livelihood right now, with that entire site just to her lonesome because the KJ can hold that down. If we get rid of that utility and overwhelm her, I mean, she can probably pick off 1 or 2, but we still find site. We still find Spike. We know that the timer's going to go down and UNA's going to have to work for that retake. So things are looking really grim for them thus far because ever since those first 2 rounds you mentioned prior, those are the only 2 they've actually grabbed when they had themselves a pistol. It's kind of pulled it out pretty well there. But even then, the second afterwards wasn't too good. But speaking of good, there's SPH with that first shot with the Marshall in hand, managing a headshot, already making it a 5v4 as we see old Auburn trying to push into spawn. But Bubs, now able to just go ahead and get that first kill, trying to go ahead and pop that Blade Storm, trying to find another one. But SPH with a second.
Woo, that's huge right there. SPH is really popping off for the squad. And then, yeah, I mean, Auburn just got collapsed there.
Yep.
I mean, they just kind of pushed straight through mid, thinking there was one person, but little did they know Volcula is just right behind them, ready to get those picks off. And Auburn just kind of got overwhelmed there. I don't know if they were just trying to, like, just run through, or they were just like, oh, we're up by 5 right now. I mean, we can kind of just play around here maybe a little bit, but I mean, UNA was prepared for that one.
Yeah.
Just no hesitation.
I'm kind of with you there. I think it was almost the latter because we sat there and saw Auburn. That was almost no awareness of what's going on around them. No real checks towards market, no real stall watching kind of over there towards that B site. I mean, nothing. They sat there and said, okay, there's a player running back. SPH has already picked off 2 of us. We need to sit there and kill that guy. Well, you can't really do that. You need to sit there and make sure to check all angles. And there's Rue already checking that ultimate orb saying Squib. No. This is what we're supposed to grab. We're the attacking side, and now we're going to push A off that because you've completely given it up to us.
I mean, yeah, and then Volcula's on the other side of the map, not able to do anything about it. That's a free plant right there because they just know where she is at all times. They know where she is, go to the other side, and they're able to win. As the Killjoy does go out here. Oh, that's a huge 2K, though, from SPH and Volcula. Oh, sees a Jet just move right on the point right there. Oh, but Dex does get her off with an op there. That's a huge... Ooh, but good trade right there on the Bubs. That's arguably the 2 best players in this match right here. Both taken out through trades.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's a lineup and a half. Okay. All right, Auburn. We get it. You're trying to show off now. You're trying to run into spawn, acting like you're going to flip everything on its head and you're going to come from the rear. Now you sit there and just sit there and throw up some incendiaries just for the heck of it, saying, okay, we can flex some new maybe strats, some lineups that we got for a Brimstone, knowing how broken he is right now. So even in a good stance here for him to go ahead and grab another round, a good exchange there, knowing a lot of players are still surviving on their side, but this, I want to say, is probably UNA's last stand here, at least here for this half. I mean, obviously, it's the last round of the half, so I mean, that's kind of getting definitive anyways, but when you sit there and see the SPH has nothing but a Marshall, Guppy has nothing but a Spectre in hand. Things are looking pretty grim, especially when you know that Dex has already found that first kill. Schmoovin has his ultimate to be popped as well. I mean, things are looking at massive aggressive for him.
I mean, UNA just kind of getting wiped here. I mean, I was going to say maybe if they get this round win right here, make it 4-8 going into the half. I mean, you could probably do a little momentum off that because, I mean, you're better on the attack than defense. But, I mean, whew. Dex hitting these snipes right here. Just goes by himself. Dex gets 3K to finish off the half, and that's a flawless right there for UNA.
That's, Dex is kind of a problem. Quite honestly, I think that honestly that's been the bigger player. We've sat there and seen him go ahead and have so much impact across the map. Go ahead and play Chamber as I feel Chamber is intended to be playing. With that operator, you can play it aggressively, and if anything goes south, you can just snap your fingers and sit there and say, all right, we get out right now. I mean, no problem. I can go ahead, sit there and say, I don't have to stick around. It's not a jet dash. You don't have to aim anything. You sit there and throw it down at your feet. You push aggressively, and you sit there and say, all right, now I'm all the way back in my spawn for all I care. I know I'm at the safety of my home, and nobody can really say anything about it. But now, with the kind of opposite end of the spectrum now, the problem is Dex still being on the operator, still looking to go ahead and possibly buy that on defense. You already hold the aggressive angle. You can know you can find probably, I'd say, 2 or 3 kills before you even really have to get yourself back onto the site. But we're talking about sites. It looks like UNA's already going to be pushing for the A site, trying to go ahead and get a little bit more aggressive there. But you're going to be met by Bubs with that Sheriff in hand.
I mean, Auburn now knows that there's 3A right now, and I mean, they're just going to wait. Maybe they're going to try and fake him out here. Maybe try and be like, oh, we're actually going to go B. But no, it looks like they're just going to get the orb here and just go straight to A here. As, oh, 2 trades right there. Guppy does get Bubs there. That's kind of a huge pick right there. But the only person going down is nobody here for the side of UNA. And, oh, Squib does get Dex. Squib's kind of popping off right here with this little funny Billy of his, as he just gets out of there from the 1v1 with Rue. Bomb is down, and I mean, UNA kind of just has it on lock right now. 2v4. KO is weak, but I mean, there's nothing he can really do about that.
Well, looking to go ahead and find themselves in a retake scenario. I mean, with the clock taken down, there's just not too much you can do. Guppy finds that last kill on the boost. The last player sending it to Rue. Not really able too much he can do. He can finesse a kill or two maybe on the way out. But when you sit there and know that they're going to be buying new ones anyways in the next round because they've won this now, UNA get that spike plant, they get that extra 300, and they get the benefit of winning that round overall. So huge plays here for them. But I mean, the one thing they can't let slide is making a repeat of history. Saying when you get yourself that pistol round, I mean, 9-3 curse is real, and I already see people talking about it, even the players inside the game. But I mean, you got to sit there and make sure to run off this pistol round. You can't let the return come through. You can't let them go ahead and win the retaliation round on round 3. You have to sit there and go off that. You have to sit there and say momentum is no factor for us. We just sit there and win by brute force, especially on the attacking side. So already starting off pretty strong, looking to get aggressive. And Bubs and Auburn getting even more aggressive, managing 2 kills now for the exchange of 1 on the side of UNA. Saying we got Spike. Hold steady, boys. Let's go ahead and finesse something. They're supposed to another one still. Wow, a 2v1.
Quick. Very fast moving right there. I mean, 2v1. And they're kind of trolling the little orb right there. No money here. Now everything's just gone slow. And they're asking for a knife fight. Now can you get this 2K right here? Oh. Okay. Whew.
That was...
Now, it seems like UNA is able to get these first couple of rounds, but here, this is where the real challenge starts. If they can get this next round right here, go up, win the first 3 rounds of this half, I mean, I think that'll be like a good shift in momentum because, I mean, Auburn's been in the same position last half. Oh, they win the first 2 rounds, then we come back and we win 9 straight. Whatever. If UNA can get this round win right here, I mean, that'll be a huge shift in momentum because it's like, oh, crap. UNA kind of knows what they're doing. We're kind of panicking a little bit because it's like, oh, we just bought all these rifles and then we all just died. Bombs down. So, I mean, this will be like a deciding round right here for the entire map, I feel like.
Oh, I mean, that's definitive. It most definitely will. And it's even a problem when you already see that Root opens up with that pick on the Squib, the player that was trying to go ahead and find someone of a snipe fight, opting for a Guardian. SPH doing that as well. You see that? I mean, UNA is forcing right now. They know they have to fight for relevancy here. They all died except for one of them in that last round. You can't sit there and say, all right, we go ahead and find the 3rd round here with the Spectre. You don't want to do that. You need to go ahead and get yourself another round. If you can topple your opposition and sit there and say, we got 3 in a row, we can run away with this and make this comeback look that much more doable as you already get yourself to a 6-9 game. But it's not looking too shabby right now for the side of Auburn as they find themselves an even answer. Already going ahead, and I'd say even out the scoreboard, but make it even better favorable for them, knowing that they had themselves 2 players up instead of only 2 rounds up. So still, SPH with that Guardian in hand, Vocula only having half shields, and Guppy being the only kind of sense of engage to back up SPH. You're just trying to keep Vocula alive when you get that spike down. Problem is you only 38 seconds to do that now when things aren't looking too good when you already see the sprays coming out and Schmoving, grabbing now 2 kills.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel like they just were stuck there for way too long. I mean, if they were able to rotate 50 seconds left in the round, I mean, you could probably make it over to B and plant that pretty quickly, but I mean, they were just stuck there getting utiled after utiled, flash stunned, whatever. Just endlessly in that choke point right there. I mean, they just kind of got stuck. They did not move. I mean, nothing really happened there. I feel like if you were just able to like leave there at probably with 50 seconds left, rotate over to B, you'd probably have a better shot of taking over that point and then potentially winning that round right there and making it a 6-9 game. But right now it's 5-10 for the side of Auburn, and looks like we're gonna have a B push here on the side of UNA. Let's see what they're able to do.
I mean, you guys sit there. UNA is just kind of working with scraps right now. They know they sat there, had to force that last round. They gave over Auburn a flawless. So, I mean, they all have full rifles, full disposal in their hands thus far that you sit there and work with what you can. But if you're working what you can, nobody here at least finesses a kill there on the likes of Deck. So that's the chamber down. That's the top frag of the side of Auburn right now.
Yeah.
Already being picked off for this one. So things are looking pretty promising, but still you don't have the full setup. You don't have an entire buy for your whole team. You know that still Auburn is going to be excelling in these range fights, and they can penetrate walls as well, as Bubs is clearly showing off right there as you sit there and see another kill finesse. And Schmovin looking for the double, trying to go ahead and bring out knife fight between the two.
Oh.
And Schmovin comes up on top with it. Does manage that second one as Vocula now being the last player standing. Can't really find the kills there. And Auburn, 3 players still alive there, mentioned their 11.
I mean, if you get that kill right there with the knife, SPH, I mean, if you got that kill right there, that would have been pretty huge. Because, I mean, what would have been like a 2v2 at that point, and then cut their economy just a little bit more. But I mean, that was just panic mode from both Schmovin and SPH right there. I mean, they had absolutely no idea what was going on. They were just pressing buttons, hoping for the best, and Schmovin got the best of that right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do in a scenario like that. I mean, especially when you saw all those bullets being invested and then the collides that come out, then the knife. Schmoomin was a little desperate there, I'll admit. But what's even more desperate right now is going to be UNA looking for them some rounds. Because, I mean, only sitting at 5-11, they have to have a comeback and a half. Sure, they're only at a 6-round deficit, not the biggest in the world. But when you sit there and see UNA popping so many ultimates right now, they are over investing, and they better get the spike down. Problem is,
but
nobody here can make the exchange and find 2 of his own. Now a 3v3, and you still have the suppression coming out. Now the other one is coming through. We sit there and see that it's going to go ahead and be dwindled down. And with all these ultimates, so much to come down in this one round, it's hard to keep track of what is even going on.
I mean, UNA just invested a lot into pushing into this B side, and I mean, they still lost 2 going on to point right there. The flash is going out. Oh, Bubs does get the knife kill right there, or the whatever that's called thing. But I mean, as they're just kind of pushing in. Ooh, Bubs does get that, but I mean, it's basically a 1v1 at this point. Oh, but Bubs does get it, and it looks like they're gonna get the defuse over the res. Maybe. Never mind. That's a broken ability. You can get res. That's broken.
Oh, it's not broken. I mean, there's a timer to it. I mean, I don't. Honestly, now that I think about it, I mean, kind of, but not really though.
You know what is broken? Sprinting in Valorant. That's broken.
No, Reyna sprinting in Valorant. For some reason, I swear to God, Riot just like she has pinpoint accuracy at full sprint. Like other agents don't do it like she does, but for some reason, it's always Reyna's. That when they're full sprinting, they can go ahead and be like a neon. They go ahead and give her a sprint button, and she'll still have pinpoint accuracy. Swear by it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm bronze 2 peak right here. I mean, I don't really know too much about all the mechanics and stuff coming out right now, but I mean, Guppy does get that first pick on the boosted right there, and boosted did go huge right for the side of Auburn, but Rue does get a squib, my boy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Rue just saving Bub's life right there. I mean, still, that crossfire, you don't get too much of it. You don't even see the player there. You just get a nick at the shoulder, and you say that, okay, that's all we need. Take the shots in the wall. You find the kills there. So many operators for the side of Auburn that they're trying to end the game like this. They're now on match point. They have 2 operators on each side. Schmoovin manages a kill with the fragment grenade. What is going on with Auburn as Dex is going to go ahead and be that lifeline to say, look, I'm not messing around. I'm running a real rifle in my hand. I'm trying to go ahead and find the exchange. Schmoovin having the classic out, trying to go for the kill there, but I mean, SPH, instead of being able to heal off of it, he goes ahead and dismisses instead. So still only having 20 health left, having 2 players trying to surround the guy, can't really manage the round there, and you sit there and see Auburn winning this out. The series 2-0 and the map 13-5.
I mean, UNA kind of got dominated in those later rounds, honestly. I mean, they got the pistol rounds down, and they were able to push that aggression a little bit better, but after those pistol rounds, I mean, it felt like the side of Auburn just kind of took over. They got their rifles. They just had more confidence in their ability to fight one-on-one and get these first pickoffs and just take over from that point. Because I mean, they just didn't die. I mean,
that's kind of all that it comes down to. I'm gonna be real with you. I mean, there's not really much more to it. You sit there and see the likes at Auburn. They sat there and came to play today. They sat there, even though each side they get to play the map they wanted to. It looks like both of them were selected by Auburn at the end of the day. I mean, the only time that we saw UNA really finesse themselves some rounds, especially on Ascent, which we see so many teams just naturally opting for. So many teams sit there and say, look, we love Ascent. Well, I mean, Ascent is probably the most selected map in the likes of Valor in the entirety of it. I would say Icebox is a close contender, but with these new changes coming out, it's not really touched on nearly as much until people get that comfortable, I'd say, atmosphere out of it again. But, I mean, overall, Auburn with a really good showing. UNA, though, I mean, I feel like the one big thing that I could possibly say is somewhat of a takeaway from this is the composition on Fracture. It was a little bit questionable for me, I gotta admit. I wasn't really too sure about that setup. You had no initiator, you had no real intel to be working off of. Even if it was a KO and you get that suppression, you still know that somebody's in that vicinity because there's so many angles to be coming from on the defensive side, you have to get a read to some extent.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like if they had someone like that, like a KO or someone like that,
or a breach, like what we saw to Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, if you had just something like that, I feel like you probably would have a better shot of at least taking a few rounds instead of just having dominated from 6-6 straight to 13-6 in like 10 minutes. You know, I mean, it felt like they just had absolutely no idea where anyone was, and I feel like if they had like a KO or something like that, they could probably just at least have intel where someone is and be ready to fight in
Yeah.
that moment instead of just hoping and praying you don't get jump scared by a gunfighter or shot to the head.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's all it really comes down to. We sat there and saw a lot of headshots, saw a lot of good plays. We sat there and saw obviously that everybody has potential here, but still, that's only going to be the thing we can provide here today. We only have one matchup lined up and ready to go because obviously it is during spring break right now, so a lot of teams are kind of out and about. Everybody's doing their own thing, and even then, UNA's has their spring break next week. So, I mean, so much to unfold here, but regardless of that, we do have coming up, I want to say, isn't it tomorrow? I think we're having ourselves Rocket League come up. And that's going to be kind of another game here for the week that we do here on the main stage. And then I'm not sure, Brady, are we going to come back next week knowing we have spring break? Are we doing a production next week? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Friday for Rocket League. Then we'll go ahead and follow up on the next week. We will still have the production once again. Monday, League of Legends. Wednesday, Valorant. Then Friday, Rocket League again. Kind of a rinse and repeat kind of deal. But still in the meantime, that's all we have here for you today. And thank you all for joining in with us. Make sure to come back here on Friday. It's not going to be the same faces, sadly enough, but it'll be 2 new, fresh faces, at least for Rocket League, because we don't know that game enough to cast it. So we'll catch you here later. Thank you. Appreciate you all, and we'll have a good night.
And thank you to the sponsors. Y'all the homies. You already know. Thank you, sponsors. And y'all have a wonderful night.